Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. So, we're 3 days into the Trump presidency, and so far, ICE has only arrested 538 illegal immigrants. Now, that sounds like quite a lot, but they're getting a lot of flack for the fact that, judging by the amount of illegals we think are in the country, which is around 30 million, we don't really know, but it's a lot. In order to get rid of them all, to deport them all, you would need to arrest about 21,000 every single day for the next 4 years. And obviously, 500 is a far cry away from 21,000. But the thing about this is they're never going to arrest every single one of them and deport them all physically through ICE, through the Department of Defense, whatever. And that's not really the goal. What the goal should be is to get these people to self-deport. What you want them to do is you want them to pack up what they have and take it with them and leave. Because right now, the people who are getting arrested, they're going after the major criminals, and then they're saying anybody who they find there will also be deported, but they're intentionally targeting certain criminals they know of first. What this should be is this should be assigned to the illegal immigrants who did break the law by coming into the country, but say that's the only law they broke. Now's your time to sell your house, sell your car, take your money, take your whatever, and then self-deport. Leave with your assets. Because what they're going to start doing is, these criminals, their assets are just going to be seized like any other criminal. And so if you're somebody who they say was a productive member of society, even though you're an illegal immigrant and you have to go, you should be given kind of this grace period of like, hey, like we're not coming for you yet, but you've got a period of time to kind of sell off everything and head back to whatever country you're from. And then that process is going to be a lot less painful than if, they come in the middle of the night and they take you from your home, right? Sorry. It's going to happen eventually. And I think they should really kind of emphasize like, hey, if you're willing to come to us and say, yeah, I'm an illegal immigrant and I want to leave, I want to go back home, give me time to sell assets. I think that's something that can be acceptable, that should be in the plan to like allow people this grace period of like, hey, I'm going to need to uproot my whole life anyways. I want to voluntarily leave. I'm not going to run from you. I'm going to let you know right where I am. I just need a little time to get my, affairs in order before leaving. I think that's totally fine. I think that's if you want people to leave, the best way to do is get them to leave voluntarily and give them that incentive. Like, hey, we're not going to seize your assets. We're not going to put you in handcuffs. If you come to us voluntarily and say like, hey, I want to leave, but I need some time, the 1-2 month grace period, whatever they're willing to give, even more, maybe a year, who knows? But that should be on the list of things that are a possibility. And everything else, you just kind of make life unlivable for them. You're not allowed to rent a car. You're not allowed to get a job. There's, you have to certify that you're an American citizen to start doing these things. And you just kind of make life basically unlivable. You're not able to participate in the U.S. economy if you are not a legal citizen or, a legal resident by some means, a college student here on a visa, whatever. You just can't do these things. Go out and find the people who are facilitating this. So bosses who are knowingly hiring illegals, like just get hit with heavy fines, penalties, whatever, renting apartments, renting cars. And you say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Like, stop it. And you just want to incentivize these people to leave voluntarily. So yeah, you're probably not going to be able to physically round up and put everybody in handcuffs. 21,000 a day, that's insane. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. But if, and it's already started to happen with the self-deportation, like a lot of people are saying, I see the writing on the wall. I don't want to lose everything. I don't want to be separated from my family. I don't want the government coming after me. I'm just going to pack my things, go back. And that's what you need to do. And that also incentivizes people to stop coming. Like, hey, you just can't participate in the economy anymore. ICE is going to find you. The border's totally locked down. You can't even get in. There's just no incentivization to come and even attempt to participate here. So that would be the goal. And yes, this is going to be rough. There's no way of sugarcoating that. This is going to be rough. People are going to get separated from their families, probably. They're going to lose their assets, probably. They're going to be a lot of problems with this massive deportation effort, but it's absolutely necessary. And if we can make it as humane as possible, like, hey, we just want you to leave. That's all we want. We don't need your stuff. We don't need you to serve jail time. We just want you to leave. If that's the goal, and that maintains to be the goal, is just we want you to get out of here, then I think that can be significantly more humane. And that's like the lines that we should draw. And I think you can get everybody on board with is like, hey, let's try to make an off ramp for people and make it as easy as possible, as easily accessible as possible. Have the government participate, like they're, fly people back. We give them a free plane ride. I don't care. Like let's just get them out of here. Don't have to make them cross the desert again. We'll fly you back to your country, right? Make it as humane as possible to reach our objectives. And I think that's what ICE is trying to do. I think that's what Trump's trying to do. And I think it's going to be significantly smoother than people thought it was going to be, because I think people thought it was going to be like everybody getting arrested all the time, dragging mothers away from their children. And I don't think it's going to be quite as bad or to that scale. Like, people want to leave voluntarily, totally fine. But it has to happen. And I don't think Trump's going to back down on his stance of getting rid of all of them. So we'll just have to wait and see how things play out. And I hope this goes as humanely as possible. You don't want people fighting cops. You don't want any collateral damage of any sort. So focus on the criminals right now. Totally agree with that first. But then also this policy of that they find other illegals with them, the person they were targeting, take them too. Like that's also fine. The fact that they're not going in stages, they're saying, if anybody else is there, like, we're going to throw you over the border too. But right now we're targeting specifically people who we know have criminal records aside from just coming into the country illegally, like, assault and all sorts of other things, robbery, whatever, like very serious crimes. Get rid of those people first. Totally on board with that. I think most people are. I think even if you don't want to deport, illegals whose only crime was crossing the border illegally, I think that we should all be able to agree. I know we aren't agreeing on this, but we should all be able to agree that the criminals need to go. There's no reason to have criminals in this country, especially incredibly severe criminals who break the law repeatedly and then hide out in sanctuary cities. That should not be acceptable. I think any Democrat that supports that it's just a weird notion. It's kind of a bizarre hill to die on, that like, no, we need the criminals to be here. If you can't agree on that, then there's something wrong with your position, because it's no longer about the well-being of people, which is the argument for letting these people in, as they're poor and whatever. They just want a better life. That's for their well-being. That's why they should be here. Okay, but if that argument's about well-being, then why are you allowing criminals on the street who can hurt American citizens? And every American citizen that's hurt by an illegal immigrant, the government's responsible for, because they're supposed to protect us, and having an open border is not doing that. Like, that's their number one job, protect us. So the government's failing, and they can hurt American citizens, and then they can also hurt other illegal immigrants. They're not immune to these problems. There's a lot of human trafficking of illegal immigrants by illegal immigrants. That's something that Homan has said repeatedly. Trump's borders are in something he really wants to, solve, because it's not, even those people, just because they're not American citizens doesn't mean they're not entitled to like human rights. And there's a lot of kidnapping, human trafficking. Like, America should do what it can to stop that, even though they're not our people. Like, that is not acceptable, no matter what country you're in. That's where we should, say like, okay, this is going beyond the reach of what directly affects the American people, but we're willing to help out with that at the border, the human trafficking, the cartels, all that. So I'm happy to see that. I hope everybody else is. I hope we can find some common ground on like what level we should take with who should get deported. But this argument of like no to deportations at all for anybody is just ridiculous, and it's not helping anybody. It's hurting a lot of people, American citizens and non-American citizens. So that's my thought on this. I've seen this argument about the 538 people not being enough. And I think they're missing the point of how this is supposed to go. So we'll just see how it goes, how it plays out. We'll see if Trump actually gets rid of them all and what the plan is and how humane that is. And I want to keep up with that and make sure that's, kind of being told as relevant and as transparent as it can. So if you're interested for that, subscribe, like, share. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And thank you for watching.